evening, YouTubers. This is my first video. I hope you enjoy it. My reason for participating here on YouTube is to discuss and debate, both because it is enjoyable and because intelligent discussion is the best way for us to develop our understanding of how the world works and how we might make it work better. Tonight I want to talk about one of the more significant blights that society suffers from, long-term unemployment. This is defined as the inability of willing workers to find a job within 12 months. As you may already know, unemployment in general is impossible to get rid of, due to frictional unemployment and the like. And small amounts of it are actually healthy for society because it allows the workforce to be flexible as markets shift. But long-term unemployment is a completely unwanted negative factor for society. I'm going to attempt to show that the greatest way to battle long-term employment is to allow for the most economic freedoms possible. I'm going to do this by showing what economic factors correlate the greatest with both long-term unemployment and economic freedom. We will then draw conclusions from these comparisons. To start off, here's the data on long-term unemployment for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development countries from the year 2000. The data varies from 10.2% for Slovakia to 0.2% for the US, Norway, and Iceland, which have tied for having the lowest levels of long-term unemployment. Next, I looked at the correlations for this data on Remastered.com and found that 3 economic factors had a strong correlation of 50% or more. These factors are the Economic Institution Index from the World Economic Forum for the year 2004 to 2005, the Growth Competitiveness Score, and Business Efficiency. To show you what kinds of data goes into creating these indices and scores, let's look more closely at how the World Economic Forum graded their Economic Institution Index. Here are the factors that contributed to the creation of this index. The numbers on the right correspond to the position in the world the U.S. holds in each of these factors in their latest report. Now let's look at a graph showing the correlation between long-term unemployment and the Economic Institution Index. Feel free to pause the video to take a better look at these graphs. They are pretty interesting. Or better yet, visit nationmaster.com and take a look at them there. It's an awesome website. And here's the graph showing the correlation between long-term unemployment and growth competitiveness. And finally, for business efficiency. Now let's look at what correlations we can find for economic freedom. In the top of the list of correlations, we find the strongest economic correlations for economic freedom are, drum roll please, the same 3 factors: the Institution Index, business efficiency, and the growth competitiveness. In fact, the correlation is actually much stronger, which may be due to the larger pool of compared countries, since I only had data for long-term unemployment in the OECD countries. Here are the corresponding graphs of the correlations. It seems pretty clear to me that economic freedom on its own and via the factors previously shown has a greater influence on lowering long-term unemployment than any other single economic factor. What's more, it costs little to nothing to implement, so during these times of expensive bailouts, it should be a particularly attractive solution to unemployment problems many areas are facing. Now it's your turn. Was my argument sound? Was it completely absurd? Do you have any better theories on how to save the world? I look forward to receiving your help in making our world a better place. Peace, everyone. And yes, I did steal that last part from Pat Condell's playbook. I hope he doesn't mind.